This meeting to order. This meeting is held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act 10:4-6 at C. Annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald and posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcement. Will you just please rise, salute to the flag, and a moment of silent reflection for a longtime fireman that passed away recently. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please. What's next? Oh, great.
All right, Mr. Bongiovanni.
Here.
Mr. Shirilla.
Here.
Mr. Dellarino.
Here.
Ms. Crop. Here. Mr. Kusevich.
Here.
Mr. Rossi.
Here.
Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mr. Wagner. Mr. Mazelewski.
Here.
Ms. Snow.
Here.
Councilman Smith. Mayor Galati. Here. Chairman Ray.
Okay, minutes. The motion is in order to approve the minutes of the November 26, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion second?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirilla.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarino.
Abstain.
Ms. Crop.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Snow. Ms. Snow, I'm sorry. Mayor Galati. Yes. Chairman Ray.
Yes, no way, she does it.
Sorry.
It takes her a while. It's always the administrator. she
I
has
couldn't
problems
say
with.
yes.
Poor Neil, he took like 10
Oh,
meetings
please,
before
I
he got
said,
his name right.
I didn't know, I think I did that.
Okay, first item on the agenda is resolutions. The first one is Juanita Bronstein, 2 Oakdale Ave. The hearing date was November 12th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes or the resolution?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirilla.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarino.
Yes.
Ms. Crop.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Excuse me, Ms. Snow. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Mayor Galati. Yes. Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay, second resolution is Tiber and Maria Stupar, 407 Lakeside Boulevard. The hearing date was November 12th, 2024. Did everybody read that resolution? Everybody good with it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll wait for a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion to approve it. Second.
Who's second? Sorry.
Okay,
Steve.
Steve.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirilla.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarino.
Yes.
Ms. Crop.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mayor Galati. Yes. Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay, next resolution is Scott Wood, 213 Maxim Drive. The hearing date was November 26th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirilla.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarino.
Abstain.
Ms. Crop.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Abstain.
Mayor Galati. Yes. Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay, last one is the Hopatcon Hills. That's the Crescent Cove, correct, Bill? Crescent Cove Beach Club?
Yes, made a few changes. John Rushkey recommended some changes, sent an email around, and they're incorporated in the version that I sent out today.
Okay,
So
so you're good with everything in
I'm
the,
good with everything that he had. Chris
Bill-
Calabello, the attorney, had a comment. I was fine with that.
okay. Bill, you good with everything in there? Okay. Okay, motion is in order to approve this resolution or?
The class 4 members on this, that was a use variance.
I'll make the motion.
Class 4, Anthony?
Yeah.
You're class 4 now?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm just, we have a, did you second it? Or
No, no, Taylor for only,
Taylor
we
has
only
the
have one.
I'll second it.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirilla.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarino.
Abstain.
Ms. Crop. Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is correspondence. We have any correspondence we have to deal with? No. Escrow refunds, there are none. Bills, we only have a couple bills this week, this month, so a motion in order to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Benjaveni.
Yes.
Mr. Sherla.
Yes.
Mr. Delarina.
Yes.
Ms. Crock.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Councilman Smith. I'm sorry, Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay, next item, zoning officer report. You got anything, Bill? No? No, perfect. Discussion, any discussion? Seeing none. Old business, do you have any old business to discuss? New business? Okay, then we'll move on. Continued application. The first continued application is Daryl Norman, block 30408, lot 25, 225 Lakeside Boulevard. Or is he-
Yes. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your full name, sir?
Daryl Norman.
And this initially was
Yeah.
presented at the October 1st meeting, and it was discussed that really variance relief is needed. This is use variance to residential structures, and we discussed expansion of a non-conforming use, but really has to prove the non-conforming use first. That's where we're at.
Did we have any testimony on the non-conform, the two-family on the?
Truthfully, I don't recollect exactly. He does have proofs from the
Okay.
assessor's office.
Okay, all right, well, let's, what you got, did you bring forth any information to?
Additional information, I was not able to substantiate anything. I spoke with, let's see. I spoke with Marty down at the museum. He had deferred me to Sussex County Clerk's office. Then I spoke to Tara at the Sussex County Library. We did an interesting historics research search, a deed search, and then I spoke with Jeff Parrott in regards to a deed search. And he indicated, so I had just been given a bullet point list from a couple of people. And so he had suggested that the deed search wouldn't have given anything further than that last pre-1959 internal record, the tax record, just because it would have shown a transfer of ownership rather than like a description of any of the lots or anything. So I went through as many avenues as I could, but it seems like the first document that I had found was the most validating.
And what was that, Bill? What was that from, before 1959?
Yeah, zoning took effect in, I think it was April 1959 in Hopatcong, so that we try to.
Okay, so he does have something.
The assessor, the oldest assessor records, which are the yellow
Okay.
ones over there, they both indicate, because there's two different houses on the property that, and they'd indicated that the year built was, I think, 1906 on the one, and on the other one, I think it inherited that also, but we can confirm that.
I mean, I would say that's sufficient. I mean, it's a thorough tax record that shows that the two structures were there prior to 1959. So I think that can handle the non-conforming.
Mr. Norman, how many bedrooms are in the smaller structure? The smaller structure is the lakefront structure,
The
right?
smaller structure is the lower, yes, and it is 2 bedrooms, 1 bath.
That's the same as the tax record. Okay. And the larger house is?
Is 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Okay.
I remember the reason you were here is for the roof structure, correct, Bill? You changed that.
Well, I was originally here for
Yeah.
this, and then in the interim,
Okay, that popped up.
yes, sir.
Okay,
To which I have spoken with Mr. Donegan and Mr. O'Connor, gotten that all, confirmed that it's, no, it's not too high, not too wide, from the lowest living structure, all of those different points.
okay.
It's just technically because it's a structural operation on a building that houses a non-conforming use, technically it meets the variance.
You're not changing the footprint at all? You're not expanding the footprint, strictly changing the roof line?
No, sir. Yeah, and an apology for that mistake a while back, but yes. When we were doing some repair, I had some leaks. We had gone originally to shingles. Shingles had gone to sheathing. Sheathing had gone to structure. And in the process, changed the pitch just for the sake of water or rain shielding, right? To just like get away from a low pitch that would cause any future issue, and to just get the property in good standing overall. The both of them, show like layers of age and kind of like older, bad flippers. So I've just been, since about June, I think I bought the property, have just been going through and trying to just make it, code compliant, proper, and
So none of the construction he's doing down there triggers any variances.
Again, technically, there's a section of the ordinance that says that any structural work other than, repair, but any structural work, so we reframe the roof, so, and with an expansion, so I'd say that's.
It's a vertical expand, they're going up, you're not increasing the number of
No.
bedrooms, you're staying.
I'm not increasing the number of bedrooms. I'm actually not increasing the entirety of the height because I had only done it to the cupola that was on top, which if that fell into existing structure. Again, we just like took that low pitch and the tall cupola and just went straight up.
Yeah, I mean, I went down, I saw what the existing was and what the new is, so basically you're just changing the blue pitch, I mean, that's a minimal.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And there's no other site work being done, any grading or anything like that?
No, I
There is
spoke with.
you can't do any.
You can't do much of anything I spoke with Mr. Donegan just because, I'm sorry, Mr. O'Connor, I would like to at some point after all of this, do the retaining walls with like larger, more structural block, because it's just kind of like patio block down there. To which he told me I do need an engineer, which again, I put that on the shelf and I'll wait until this is done. Yeah,
That's down the road.
yeah, just doing a lot of cleanup for now.
So, okay, any board members have any questions of this applicant?
In reference to what Erica was just saying, that the engineer had written, it was just to verify that there is absolutely no other site work that you're planning to do right now.
No, ma'am.
Now, do you have two sewer hookups to your property or is it one?
To the street,
Yeah,
I believe it is a pump from the lower to a box and then that is a gravity from the upper to that same box and one pump that goes out to the street.
so do you get two bills or because you have two structures on property, do you get two bills or one bill for your sewer?
That's a great question. Any bill that comes, I pay, and I don't know that I just paid attention to that. I apologize. Yeah.
Because we have some properties that have two houses and one connection and two.
Maybe, yeah, I can check and get back to you, but I would imagine just because they're straight in one line, I don't know that there would be any way to put a second line in.
Yeah, I'm sure when that sewers were put in, however the thing was supposed to work, you're getting billed the way you.
Properly.
I'm
Yes.
not so sure.
No?
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I can almost guarantee it's not.
And just from my better knowledge, what would correct versus not correct be?
Well, if you have two bills.
Just get two sewer bills
should be
as
two
opposed to
sewer
one.
bills.
Oh, okay.
It's just
That's
a
it.
matter of,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's a flat rate versus a quantity thing.
Well, it's a minimum.
Structure.
Okay.
Because it's two structures, it's technically two different hookups, two different EDUs that you're using.
Okay.
But we can certainly, this will trigger it to where we check on it, that's for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, no, that section of town, when they put the sewers in, there was a disaster doing that whole thing on that. How they ran the lines up through the,
But the way the ordinance reads is if you have two structures,
Yeah.
you should have two
Yeah.
separate hookups.
And so with that,
Or two separate bills, maybe not
Separate
necessarily two hookups, but
Okay.
it would be two separate bills.
that would be totally fine. Yeah.
Not that we would make you put another.
yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Not that we
Did they
would
do
make
it?
you put another line.
Did they
It's
do it
I'll be
really-
honest, this is a
one
whole-
and
this is a
half
learning
bill?
curve for me, so I don't know.
How they did that thing.
It's really just all about billing.
Meaning quantity, like is the sewer bills that I've paid already, like is it just flat rate, 100 and something bucks? Is it gonna be
It's
200?
exactly the same.
Okay.
It's exactly the same.
Totally
Yes.
fine. Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, well,
That seems right and fair.
if we get, a condition of approval is we'll have to figure that out,
Okay.
whatever has to be.
And it's on the water system too, I take it, is that right?
City?
City water?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any other further questions? Okay, I'll open this application to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on this application?
I guess the question to Bill, the 1906 documents, is that for two structures or two separate residents that had two properties, each with independent access, that were later combined? Or was it just two structures on one property where one of the structures could be simply an ancillary use structure?
Basically, you're starting to ask questions that I think the assessor could only be potentially specific on. In that file, if you go into the file in the assessor's office, the present property record card shows the two structures, the two houses. And it covers the two. everything that's on record in there is handled as if there's two houses on one property. I can't speak to whether in 1932 there were two properties and they were put together and now we have two houses on one property. I can't speak to that. But what I can say is that from this was a copy of the property record card that that is the oldest that I find in the files there. And it's either in the late sixties or the early seventies, and that's as old as we go, that's as far as we go back. And I can say that it's consistently shows two houses on one property through that whole file.
For one owner.
For one owner owns those two houses at the same time through the whole file from the record that's there.
Yeah, I don't think that could ever be subdivided or it's two houses on one lot and that's,
Two houses on a very
that's
small
all,
narrow
yes.
lot. And
Yeah.
the tax records do indicate number of bedrooms, so, and they do have, it has a sketch of each building, so you can see they're independent buildings, different footprints, so it certainly appears to be well consistent with.
I guess the second question would be then, if it goes to an independent second building, completely separate from the first building, does it need an independent access to the property? Because when I
Meaning
was
two
there,
sets of
there-
stairs or-
there's steep stairs
Mhm.
going down. Would that be the ownership of the house on the lake or the house on the street?
It's all.
It's
one
all in
ownership.
common ownership. They're not
It's all
separate.
Yeah,
It's two houses on one lot.
So
Is the question
the
if-
house on the lake could not be sold
No.
separately from the
No.
house on the street?
No,
no.
unless they came for a subdivision, which they're not gonna
Which
get.
they're not gonna get.
Mm-mm.
So- But yeah, one can't operate without the other.
So I guess what's the advantage in to having a separate address for the house?
The
It's just an
intent-
A and B, right? Is
Well,
that, am I
well,
correct?
so, yeah, I don't know that it was necessarily to have separate addresses or anything. My first interaction with the town was going into Mr. Donegan and just verifying the uses, right? Like, if I'm gonna occupy one, like the short-term rental of the other. When I had actually bought the property, I was told by my real estate agent that like there was no short-term rentals, no this, no that. And then I gone to the office, he's like, well, like if it's certified pre-existing non-conforming, if you have all of your stuff in order, then that is a possibility. So I said, well, I don't intend to do that just yet, but preemptively, right? Because it doesn't seem like anyone on my block has done the right paperwork. I said, let me just get ahead of it, right? Because whoever it was I had spoken with, when you walk in on the left and the right, they were like, oh yeah, no one has filed for these things yet. Like every single neighbor on my block is an Airbnb. And so I was like, all right, well, if this window is closing, regardless, I would just prefer to have the property in good standing with all of the paperwork correct. So that if, you guys walk into, Lakeside Boulevard tomorrow and say, hey, nobody can do it unless you have your paperwork right. I just wanted it to be correct. It wasn't for anything else other than just, I knew they were old homes and I wanted them to be in good standing.
So the issues regarding independent septic and or
The sewer.
sewer treatment wouldn't be a critical issue in the decision then, would it?
Absolutely not. No, I mean, if
Because
that
you're
is,
paying the bill for everything.
well, if that is standard, I believe that's fair, right? I can't oppose that.
Right.
If I have something to gain, then I have to pay fair share.
I mean, I think we'll just have to let John
Make it-
figure
make it
that
a
one out
condition
or
to verify
whoever.
it.
I mean, like I said, I thought like when you have two on one property, you pay like 1.5 EDU. I don't know, but I'm not.
It's totally separate structures.
So
Yeah.
it's a one
So-
line, but it's totally it's a separate structure, so they charge you differently, same.
And does that exist? Because like, I know that, looking at some of the maps, like some of the properties are single family and then a boathouse, but like boathouses have bathrooms, some, and that, so like, are they all just getting cleared up and figured out if it is the right way, or is it like, because it's a separate structure, a livable structure?
I think it's just something that we've been doing on a case-by-case basis, that when we come across something like this, we just try to correct it moving forward, because we're preserving history.
Of course.
We're all not gonna be here 50 years from now, so
Yeah.
when someone comes to question your home, because you probably won't be there either,
Right.
at least everything is already fixed,
Yeah.
and moving forward, everybody knows what's going on.
That makes sense. Makes good sense.
Okay, so Yeah, I mean, you proved that the two structures are on the property before zoning, so, I mean, we're basically just looking for an approval for
It'd
a
be
pre-existing
certification of
non-conforming.
Pre-existing non-conforming use, with a vertical expansion of the one structure.
Yeah.
Is it,
The public.
Yeah,
sorry, is it a vertical, like, does that matter? The vertical thing, because like, I'm just thinking that it wasn't, but if it doesn't matter, then I don't care.
Well,
well, you did it, so we might as well.
Yeah, I think the board is inclined to approve it, so.
Just so it has that stamp.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
I'll open this application to the public. Did I open it to the public?
No.
Anybody from the public wish to comment on this? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board and wait for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirillo.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina.
Yes.
Ms. Crocker.
yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes. Very good. Good to go.
That was good.
You haven't been able to close things in completely yet until you get your. So you might wanna.
Sorry.
Ask for a waiver of the resolution, which will allow you to go to the construction office and proceed and finish up your work before the weather.
We'll get your permits right away.
Tomorrow.
Waiver of
Ask for a waiver.
memorialization.
May I have a waiver, please?
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirillo.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina.
Yes.
Ms. Crocker.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes. All right, there you go. You go over your stuff tomorrow.
Out here.
This is my first experience going before a board. Thank you all. That was really cool. Well, I technically the second time, but yeah, thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Merry Christmas.
You as well.
Okay, next application, first new application is 305 Lakeside Ave, but that's being postponed.
Yes.
We have a letter from the applicant's attorney, Mr. Heffley, asking that the hearing be postponed to your January meeting. Apparently, he had a witness that wasn't available tonight, so if the board's so inclined, we could move to carry it to the January meeting without further notice.
Do I have a motion?
motion to carry next meeting.
Also,
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yeah.
Mr. Shirillo.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina.
Yes.
Ms. Crocker.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes.
and that's the January 6th meeting, January 16th meeting date. Okay, that was the motion, January 16th. Make sure that that's his letter.
Next application is Anthony Markowski, block 10905, lot 4, 8 North Way. Someone here for Mr.? Over there, Mike, behind the podium. Oh,
Gotta get you on the microphone. I guess we can please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And you're a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey. Your license is current.
I am.
You
License is
testified
current.
before this board on many times, many occasions.
I have.
he's the first architect in New Jersey. Right?
How far
back do
you go?
I'm an old architect.
No.
Okay,
48 years of license. I have my license 48 years.
so quick question. I mean, didn't we approve this whole thing, Bill?
Oh,
This
yes.
was all, they had a
That was
resolution
a
to,
previous applicant. Actually, that applicant, I think, was the owner of the house that burned down.
okay,
And he never did get to the project, and then Mr. Bengus's client purchased the property and actually has a bit of it's a little bit of a different design, so.
is it smaller than what we approved?
Truthfully, now, it's been so long. I don't-
So, because we approved a pretty big, pretty ambitious,
It
dwelling
may
that
actually
was-
be, yeah, it may be a little bit smaller, but I don't remember the two exactly, but, do you recollect, Mr. Bengus?
this
what
house
is
burned
it?
down, it's a slab, that's a slab.
What I recommend, what I recollect is that it's marginally larger in a few areas and actually marginally smaller in some other area. It's more or less the same. A little.
Is this gonna have a full basement or?
No,
No?
it's a slab on
Oh,
grade.
no, I
They're using-
recommended to him, when I saw the property there, I said, go slab on grade.
It's all ledge up
Because
there.
otherwise it would be dynamite and bad, very expensive.
All right, Mike, well, give us your, what would you like to do?
Well, I would like to see this application approved. So this young man who's bought this property and has been waiting anxiously to put a house up there can move in with extra bedrooms hopefully, because he's getting married soon. And although it shouldn't matter to anyone, it's just interesting to me. It's the first client I've ever had in my life who can't really look at my drawings and told me how nice or unnice they look because he's blind. So what I did in preparing a set of plans was he stood next to me and I took his index finger and I said, look, here, you're coming in here. And I traced it out, holding onto his hand. It was a new experience for me. And I just thought I'd mention that because it doesn't happen too often.
You do have your letter to Mr. Rushby. It indicates that 2 sheds at the rear of the property will be demolished. And the area of disturbance, the new figure is 340 square feet, so that's it. So basically you're operating on the existing disturbed area and foundation area, I guess, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right, so you got this letter and you're willing to comply with everything John suggested, correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. In fact, John Rushby looked me in the face and said, yeah, you're gonna do this? And I said, yes.
Okay.
We're taking down a tree or two in the back, on the
Yeah.
back property line too.
Any board members have any questions?
What the size of the trees are? Are they
The
large?
size of the trees? Well, I would say they're about 14 inches in diameter.
I can tell from the documents how big dimensionally, how much bigger it is dimensionally from what was on there. Is it much?
This look, to me, this looks a lot bigger than the house that you did already originally propose. This one is 2,500 square feet. Most of the homes in the neighborhood are your 1970, 1980 bi-levels that are around 1,500 square feet. That when I walk the neighborhood, there isn't a home there that has, 2 double car garages. This is much larger than anything that's up there. It's most of the entire lot.
I don't think it's any wider than, the appearance of the house, it kind of looks, they're all similar in appearance.
But it's 2,500 square feet. The average house there isn't. The average house there is almost 1,000 square feet smaller.
I could have sworn that when the last applicant that came here, they got a variances approved, it was considerably larger than this even, so I don't know what happened to that. That's probably about 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
If you want, I'll go try to find the file. Because, the other site plan? You should, if I can find the file, you guys talk.
I think it's regardless of the old one, I mean, we're trying to approve this new set of plans, so I don't think it's
Right.
gonna have anything relative to what we approved 4 years ago, really.
Yeah, if I could make a point to your astute comment, yeah, like, what's that got to do with anything? But my own feeling is what we've always said, whoever we are, well, you put up a nice, big, substantial house on a street, it kind of helps the look of the street and raises everyone's property value in theory at least. So anyway.
Well,
I
it's just
guess
that
that's my argument.
this specific house is in the middle of the, is in the middle of the block.
Yes,
So
it
it
is.
has the neighbors behind it, it has the neighbors on each side, and then, the neighbors across the street, and this would be, just, a lot larger than all of those other houses out there, that's all.
You did provide a plot plan that was superimposed on a survey map that shows the current foundation, and you've shown the proposed foundation, which overlaps that a bit, but not dramatically.
It looks like it's more to the back. You're going more to the back of the property, right, Mike? Then
This size,
Yeah. The property rises up a bit from the road. So the fact is when you're When you're standing in the street there, you don't even see the back of the property.
Carrie Yeager.
I don't understand why on the application that you house is larger, why the setbacks are the same as existing though.
So you can go with a prevailing setback, like, so as long as you don't come any closer to the road than the existing line of houses, then you don't need a, you know, if you're going with a prevailing setback. So it's not like he wants to bring the house any closer to the road or set it back, and he said everything is nice and,
Yeah, but if the house is larger dimensionally front to back, that setback, those front and rear setbacks are gonna
it's just gonna
change.
go further into the backyard from what, you know, I don't.
That's what I did, yeah, I went further into the backyard, yeah.
So you're gonna maintain 17 feet on one side and 18 feet on the other side, Mike, is that correct?
Correct, that's what I wrote, yeah, 17 one side, 18 the other side.
And you'll still have 38 feet in the rear yard, correct?
That is correct.
So, I mean, as far as rear yard setback and side yard setbacks, he conforms, right? So,
And the setbacks for the houses in the area is similar to the proposed setback here, front yard setback from Northway.
I think they're all the same, Bill, I mean, all the houses are in line.
As long as you have a 20-foot setback,
Yeah.
that's your,
Yeah, and right now, he's proposing a 25-foot
25.
one, so.
right? Mhm.
It's only 1.5% or so over the footprint, which would be the tell is whether it's
Yeah.
really big or really small.
I mean, it's minimal, really, I mean, as far as,
So you had a word for that, Bill Donegan, you used to call stuff like that de minimis.
Oh, yeah, that's
A
Sean's
nice
word.
Latin word.
Sean likes that.
Mhm.
So we're going to use the existing foundation that's there?
No, because it's not in good shape.
So you're gonna bust it
It's
open?
it suffered from the effects of winter, when
I
we used
noticed
to
that
have
there
real
was a
winters.
block around the foundation. Just over the block.
Yeah, there is something sticking up, but I'm planning to remove that. It's ugly looking, to put it bluntly.
But you're gonna take your new one from that point rather than going further out in the road, right? That's just the point of the conversation.
yeah, the front line is gonna stay the same, so everything is gonna work from the front line back.
Yeah.
Go back.
Do we have any other questions of that? Heather,
Are you planning on changing the grades at all on the property? I know you noted there's an increase in 340 square feet of disturbance, but limit of disturbance would include all disturbance on the site, not just the dwelling itself.
Yeah, you're quite right, and Bill pointed this out to me at one point. I had said, well, we're taking out the foundation, so essentially, like in theory, I'm not disturbing what's in the middle of the foundation, but he said, nah, you can't look at it that way. You're disturbing more than you think, yet the overall effect of that anyway is still very minimum. So I would say, yes, in theory,
Are you gonna disturb less than
I'm
5,000
over
square
I
feet?
wish I was under, but I'm over that limit, yet the effect on my regrading is almost limitless. I don't know what to regrade, just to keep the soil away from the house, slanted away from the house, the driveway essentially I'm reusing. And I'm just gonna pretty up the soil, and by pretty up, I mean, make it match the push up against the side of the house, and yet at the same time, in the immediate area of the house, slope away a little bit so water drains if we ever get rain. And this isn't,
So you plan on
it's
keeping
not
the finished floor height the same? The new finished floor is gonna be basically the same as the existing finished floor height? No change in the driveway or anything grade wise?
That is correct, yeah, and in fact, aside from repaving it, I'm just about reusing the existing driveway. I am reusing it.
Alright, yeah, because just if there are any changes to the grade, bring that to our attention, before. Just so that we can review it and make sure that it's not gonna negatively impact your neighbors if. Say like the slope does change and directs any stormwater off-site.
So, excuse me, what would you like me to do?
If there is gonna be a chance that the grades are gonna change, I know you're saying that you're just gonna have the slight 2% pitch away from the foundation. But if there does become some kind of field change where you have to change the grade, or there's a swale in the lot or anything like that, or if it looks like the slope is gonna be steeper than just that slight pitch away, I would recommend.
You'll be notified. I mean, one thing I've learned from John is because he gets complaints on this. We don't want any water coming off our roof that's gonna generate a headache for the neighbors.
Yeah.
Keep the water on your land. I know that.
Yeah.
And we'll do that.
Well, the good thing with
Right.
that site is it just has a gentle slope to the road, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's going,
Yeah.
it's not going to
Yeah,
any
it won't be
yard.
going over there anyway.
This is on public sewer.
Yeah, sewer and water.
Okay. Have you verified the sizes of the services? Or is that going to be done when construction starts?
I went through a process of getting some additional information, which I believe I handed to Amy, right, Amy?
What are you looking
What
for?
was, well, like the
Just the-
size of the water.
Verifying
Line.
utilities.
I know I have
It's a
it.
No,
4
you
inch
have-
and it's
yeah.
3/4 inch
Yes, I'm
water
sorry.
service.
I mean, you
Okay.
verified that you're on public and, yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
but not side, yeah.
yeah, that's all.
Any other question? No? All right, I'll open this application to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board and wait for a motion. Anybody?
Make a motion to approve.
With the, taking care of all the.
It's in the letter.
Yeah.
John Rescue's letter.
Okay, we have a motion,
I'll second.
second?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Shirillo,
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Ms. Snow,
Yes.
Mayor Galati,
No,
Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay, you're good to go, Mike. You want a waiver of memorialization? Is that what you're ready to ask me?
It doesn't look.
Well,
like
I don't know if we're gonna break ground this winter.
Okay.
I don't think it matters really.
Okay. All right, very good.
Thank you.
You're good to go.
I wanted to make one other comment. This gentleman here. I don't know your name.
Dellarina.
Well, thank you for starting it off by making a motion. Because for a while I wasn't even gonna hear one. No, I want to tell you something. I may sound boastful. I used to sit up there. I was the chairman of the planning board at one time in this town. But I'm not too often here. But tonight I'm here, so it's nice to be back. Thank you.
Good to see you, Mike.
good to see you, Mike.
Good to see you, Bob.
All right, very good. Let me see, where's my agenda here? Next item on the agenda is, we open the meeting to public. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on anything? To the land use plan? Seeing none, I'll close it to the public and,
Just an update.
yes, go ahead. Bill.
Tomorrow, Scabetti, you may remember that, this is the one that has come back
Come
to
on.
us like that a few times. We have a hearing tomorrow, I have a hearing tomorrow, and the judge, I think, will make a decision. My concern is it's very close to Christmas, but we'll see what the judge's ruling is on this. This is really essentially, it was a boathouse that is used for residence, and there's an application that was rejected to construct a second story on a very, very small property, so.
What is the judge's, what is he, what's before the judge that he's gonna make a decision on? An appeal?
Yeah, it's an appeal, it's an appeal. The
Didn't he
judge-
appeal it already and got denied?
They appealed, our denial was sustained the first time. There's two ways to prove a bulk variance, and that is hardship, which typically is the size of the lot, the steepness of the lot, the narrowness of the lot, that makes it difficult for you to construct a building or an addition. The other is the benefits, I call it the benefits versus the detriments, where you say, my proposal is a better planning alternative. For instance, where you may have a large parking lot, and you want to put some buffer plantings in or something, or reconfigure it, it's going to be more conducive to helping your neighbors, some of those things. I had one in my office years ago that went to the Supreme Court where a guy wanted to put an in-ground rather than an above-ground pool and put landscaping. It required some variance approval, and the Supreme Court said that the benefits exceed the visual, the aesthetics, the whole thing exceed any detriment, so approved the variance, actually sustained the decision of the board, and then the appellate division reversed, and the Supreme Court sustained. Not that we're going to Supreme Court. now.
So what happened, what happens if the judge says what? He doesn't
If
agree with
the
us?
judge- If the judge says, oh, I think, you brought in your planner, you brought in your engineer, you brought in your architect, I think that the benefits, I think this is a better, not personal to you, but better for the community to aesthetically to improve this structure, and we'll see.
He can override the board in the borough of Peckham,
That's what
one
the deal
guy?
is. Yeah. We can.
Wow. Can we appeal his decision if it doesn't go our way? You know what I'm saying?
You can go to the appellate division, we talk about that.
I mean, that's crazy.
We talk about that, but yeah, my concern with it is then isn't any application to jack up a place which is going to be more beneficial to the property owner. Does that have to be approved? I mean, is there a basis to deny somebody that type of relief if you sustain their position, which says it's a better planning alternative? And a better planning alternative, well, my argument has been it's a functional, it's not perfect. It's a functional residence. It's been used as such for all those years, but the lot is only 3,000 square feet.
We didn't say that we weren't saying you could fix it up and make it, but to what degree? Like,
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I
that's
mean,
the argument. I said you can make improvements. You don't have to put another level on.
No.
So we'll see what the judge thinks. But again, I'm a little worried because it's a week before Christmas.
I think our issue wasn't him fixing up the property the way it is now to benefit the neighbors, but I think more so adding the levels and having a hardship on a local fire department and members in the
Yeah.
community, that's even more hardship on our end.
Yeah.
That was our issue.
Right.
It was a safety issue of not being able to get a water, fire boat.
Yeah,
Bridge.
and how close the homes were.
No,
and everything.
it's a 1 foot setback. I mean, it's.
Not even.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you
actually,
have
the
to,
Foundation doesn't change the foundation.
He would have been over the line if it would have went up.
That's
I mean, I don't know if you go
easily,
there. I mean, the negative criteria far outweighs the positive
Oh, yeah.
criteria.
That's the
So,
argument we made.
all right,
Excuse me,
well,
board
you let
members.
us know.
Excuse me, I want to take up Bill's offer. Amy, would you do this? Let me ask for a waiver of
Memorialization.
whatever.
He changed his mind.
Bill,
Yeah,
since,
well, I don't know,
Mike,
my owner might change it.
Mike,
you know.
since we know you so long, we could do that. for
Thank
all
you,
right?
yeah. He might get excited that he got approved. He says, I want to go right now, so I'm saying, okay.
I'll make the
do it.
motion.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on,
ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
I put everything
No,
on.
we can do that, right? We're not in any kind of, okay.
All right,
I'll second it.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Shirley.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina.
Yes.
Ms. Crock.
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes.
Thank you, board members.
Yes.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a motion to adjourn.
I have one thing
Go ahead.
before we adjourn. I just wanted to take a moment to express my heartfelt thanks to our land use board members that are here, your dedication and your commitment to our borough. I also want to specifically thank our land use attorney, Bill Haggerty, our engineer, John Rushke, and Erica, and our zoning officer, Bill Donegan, for their time and their effort and their expertise in ensuring the success of this board. Your work is vital to the progress and well-being of Wapakonk, and it does not go unnoticed. As we approach the holiday season, I'd like to wish each and every one of you and your families a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a very wonderful New Year. And may this season bring you joy and bring you continued success. Thank you all.
Well said, thank you.
Same to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, on that note, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
In Favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I didn't show up.
Yeah, I mean,